In this universe, there exists an all-powerful God. You can call it God, or the Creator, or even the Almighty, but there must be that all-powerful observer. He exists and is watching over the entire world. If it weren't for him, the universe couldn't have formed. So why did Newton believe in the existence of God? Why did Hawking believe in the existence of God? And why does Mr. Yang Zhenning, one of today's top Nobel Prize-winning physicists, when asked in an interview if he believes in God, respond in a certain way? Have you seen that video? Let's take a look at what Mr. Yang Zhenning said. If you ask me whether there is a God. So, if what you call God is in the shape of a human, then I think no. If you ask whether there is a creator, then I think there is, because of the entire structure of this world. It is not accidental. Do you really think that humans are formed naturally? If you raise a monkey and try to make it change, it is impossible. There must be a creator who made it. Do you understand what I am saying? So why did Newton have so many inventions? If you honor God, God will grant you glory. So I want to tell all of you here today, the truth of this universe is actually just one. Today, Teacher Joe is revealing the fundamental truth of life to you. I'm directly sharing the laws of the universe with you, revealing the truth of the universe. Is that good or not? In fact, the truth of this world is very simple. So simple that it's shocking. It's something you might not even believe. But today, quantum physics has already proven the truth of this world. So what exactly is the truth of this world? In the next 5 minutes, if you understand what I'm saying, it will completely overturn your perception, change how you view this world, and even reshape your understanding of the entire universe. So listen carefully. Humanity has always wanted to understand the universe. Why does it exist? Why do I exist? Two methods exist. One is to fly out of the universe, but it's immeasurably vast. Explorer 1, launched over 30 years ago, hasn't left the solar system. Scientists invented the microscope to look inwards. Magnifying matter reveals molecules, atoms, protons, electrons, and the God particle, believed to be the smallest indivisible unit. Observed, it behaves as a particle, unobserved as a wave. Scientists debated if the smallest unit is a particle or wave. Scientists found another way. Look inwards. Matter breaks into molecules, atoms, then protons, and electrons. The God particle is believed to be the smallest indivisible unit. Observed, it behaves as a particle. Unobserved, as a wave. Scientists debated, is it a particle or a wave? The double slit experiment. If photons create two lines, it's a particle. If they form stripes, it's a wave. Current science believes that this example represents the smallest unit that makes up all matter. There's nothing smaller, and it can't be split further. However, this God particle is quite strange. When you observe it, it behaves as a God particle. But when you don't observe it, it acts as an energy wave. This is the superposition principle. So at this point, scientists began to debate, is the smallest unit that makes up matter the God particle or an energy wave? So scientists conducted an experiment. This experiment is the double slit experiment. They took a board, made two slits in it, and used a laser to shoot. If the photons pass through the two slits and create two lines, it shows the basic matter unit is the God particle. If waves interfere, forming stripes, it means wave peaks and troughs are interfering. It was stripes. Everyone realized the basic matter unit is actually an energy wave. Then a scientist asked, can we fire photons one by one through a single slit to avoid interference? The smallest component that makes up light is an energy wave. Can you guess what happened when they shot it through? It turned out to be a zebra crossing. So everyone realized that the smallest unit that makes up matter is actually an energy wave, which is why we have the superstring theory. But at this point, one scientist raised a question. Could it be that the reason they produce so many lines is due to the interference between two God particles, which is a phenomenon known as quantum entanglement? Could we shoot the photons one by one through just one slit to prevent any interference? Can it leave one line? As a result, when they conducted the experiment, it still produced a zebra crossing pattern. At this point, scientists wondered, who is it interfering with? Is it interfering with itself? So, can we use a camera to observe whether the photons are only passing through one slit in the board? When we observe, it doesn't matter. After adding the camera, it shows two lines.
Camera removed. Zebra pattern. Vanished. Electrons. God particle or energy wave. 2 lines suggest particle. Zebra pattern a wave. Einstein said both. Wave-particle duality. Nobel Prize. Light. Waves and particles. Observed. It's a particle. Unobserved. A wave. Scientists experimented. Photons passed board. Camera removed. Without it, 2 waves. With it, 2 lines. Everyone realized.
The materials make up light are both waves and particles. So when is it a particle and when is it a wave? When one observes it, it behaves as a particle. When no one is observing it, it acts as a wave. Scientists started conducting experiments again, where they saw the photons had already passed through the board, and then they suddenly removed the camera. If the camera is removed, it will be 2 waves, and if it is added, it will be 2 steels, everyone discovered. How can this God know whether we add a camera or not? It is a material thing. How can it know? Why does it know when we set up a fake camera? Why does it know when we haven't installed a camera? Even if we set up an invisible camera, it knows that too. In other words, you can't fool the particles. They seem to have a life of their own. At this point, everyone starts to wonder, is there a higher being observing us? Are all the things we humans do being watched by a higher existence? You can call this higher existence God, the Creator, or the Tao. This is the foundational theory of quantum physics. What is the observer theory? It suggests that at the moment of the Big Bang, 13.8 billion years ago, there must have been an observer watching the universe. Otherwise, this universe could not possibly exist. Without an observer, matter could not form. The entire universe would consist only of energy waves. It is precisely because of that observer that the universe formed celestial bodies. Galaxies, stars, satellites, planets, the sun, the moon, mountains, rivers, flowers, grass, trees, you and me. So what is the truth of this world? There is a higher existence. It is an observer. It exists and is watching all of our lives. So, as I said before, humans did not just appear out of nowhere, and the entire world did not just come into being by chance. Why is the speed of light in this world exactly this speed? Why is the gravitational force in our world precisely this value? Why is the expansion rate of our universe so small, this exact value? If certain numbers deviate slightly, our world wouldn't exist. Earth is perfectly positioned in the solar system, not too far or too close. If it were different, we wouldn't have today's world. It's also about temperature. Earth is at the right distance for life. Jupiter shields Earth from impacts. Without all of this, there wouldn't be the world we have today. It's not about the perfect position. It's also about the temperature. Not too cold and not too hot. Look at Mars. It's minus 100, 1,000, or 10,000. Or it could be plus 500 or 1,000. How could anything survive? Only Earth is at the right distance from the sun. The temperature is just right for life to emerge. Right next to Earth is Jupiter, which is supermassive and helps shield Earth from countless impacts from those so-called asteroid belts. Jupiter has a very strong gravitational pull. And that's because it's a gas giant. It has so many asteroids around it. And it captures all those meteors that could potentially hit Earth. Occasionally, there might be a stray one that gets through. But then the moon comes in and blocks those meteors from hitting Earth. What are the odds of that happening, right? Everything is precisely designed, including the speed of the universe's expansion. If the expansion speed were just a tiny bit faster, we would be torn apart in an instant. If it were just a tiny bit slower, we would be crushed into a singular mass. Not too big, not too small, just right. So, as those scientists continue their research, they increasingly realize that there must be a great creator. Without that creator, the universe couldn't possibly exist. Just like you wouldn't exist without your dad and mom. You can't just appear out of nowhere. Now we come to the most important moment. So does the creator need rules to support the creation of this universe? If there weren't rules to support it, how could this world possibly exist? That's why Laozi tells us that the Tao is formless, giving birth to heaven and earth. The Tao is unfeeling, governing the sun and moon. The Tao is nameless, wandering among all things. None can know its name, yet it is strongly called the Tao. The Tao is formless. You can't see or touch it, yet it exists. There are many things in this world that you can't see or touch, but they exist. Can you see a mobile phone signal? Can you see electricity? Can you see energy? Can you see dark matter? But do they exist in this world? Yes, they do. The Tao's decisions are visible, but can you see your thoughts? Yet, our thoughts determine our achievements. Some people say, "Teacher, what is the Tao?" Well, the Tao is the principle. Can you dare to say that principles don't exist? The first ruler of the Chinese nation was called the Yellow Emperor. Why did we worship the emperor as our leader during the primitive tribal times? It's because we are an agricultural people. We rely on farming for our survival. Back then, when we were farming, we didn't know what rice was, let alone what the rules were. We just planted seeds. One day the waves would come, the next day the waves would come again, and the day after that, the waves would still come. In the end, we found that the seeds we planted the day before yesterday produced grain by autumn, while the rest of the seeds didn't grow at all, but we didn't know why. Then came a person named the Yellow Emperor, Xuan Yuan. He would observe the heavens every night, studying the Tao and searching for patterns. He turned 365 days into a year, and the first calendar in all of China is called the lunar calendar, which was created by the emperor. What an immense contribution has this lunar calendar made to our entire Chinese nation. The lunar calendar divides the year of 365 days into 24 solar terms. In the past, common people didn't know when to plant or when to harvest, but with the 24 solar terms, they could plant and store based on these guidelines. One of the 24 solar terms is called Mangzhong, which is the day you plant seeds. It can be started in autumn, which is very magical. It is useless to plant it before the grain in ear. Planting after the Mangzhong is pointless. Only planting today is effective. Back in the days when we didn't have science, how did what we call science come about? To put it simply, science emerged from the study of the Tao. The so-called religions and philosophies also arise from the study of the Tao, seeking to find patterns. Religion is about finding those patterns. The Buddha discovered a pattern known as the law of cause and effect. Laozi discovered a pattern called the yin-yang principle. Do you understand the concept of yin and yang? In other words, once the creator of the universe created this universe, the entire universe became a precise instrument. That creator only needs to push the first cause, and the whole universe operates in an orderly manner. Can you understand what I'm saying? Is there a pattern to making money? Is there a pattern for making money through investments? Here's a secret. Countless people have interviewed Jack Ma, Li Ka-shing, and Bill Gates, asking, "Why are you the richest?" None said, "I worked harder than anyone else." They have connections when they need them. They have health when they need it. They have happiness when they need it. And they have whatever they want. Today, many of us want to make money. We all want to earn more. I'm going to let you in on a secret. Countless people have interviewed Jack Ma, Li Ka-shing, and Bill Gates, asking them why they were able to become the richest. Not one of them said it was because they worked harder.
I have some abilities. The surprising thing is that all three of them gave the same answer. They said something that really resonated with me. They discovered a secret through reading a book, and by applying that secret, they became billionaires. Many entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley, whether it's Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, or Elon Musk,
they all read this book, and it truly helped them grasp the Tao, the way to make money. The world's richest man, Bill Gates, once said, when recommending this book, "No one can refuse a book like this unless you refuse all books." The first sentence of that book says, "Wealth is a science." I realized, wow, so becoming wealthy is a science. That means I can definitely learn it. After Teacher Joe finished reading this book, he felt so happy and excited. He figured out the secret to wealth. I figured out the secret to money and understood the principles of making it. After reading that book, I became a millionaire in less than 6 months. Do you know how powerful this book is? This book has been published and has helped countless people become billionaires. The Jews panicked. The big shots on Wall Street, led by the Rothschild family, held a meeting. Everyone around the world saw this book and started their own businesses. Who's going to work for us now? They bought the copyright of this author's book and destroyed it. This book was banned for a full 200 years because it revealed all the secrets to creating wealth. After this book was banned, some readers who had previously bought it hid it in their homes. Then others wanted to hand copy it for others. A hand-copied version of that book sold for $3,000 in America 150 years ago. Bill Gates also read the first edition of this book, a hand-copied version, before he started his entrepreneurial journey. So what is this book? The name of this book is The Lost Century. The first sentence of the book, The Bible of Getting Rich, shocked me. When Teacher Joe read this book, he was shocked. I was still living in a rented apartment in the center of Shenzhen, you know. The first sentence of this book says, "Wealth is a science." Friends, wealth is indeed a science. When I saw this book, I felt this electric shock kind of feeling, you know. Let me show you something. So what does this book talk about? The first chapter is about how you are meant to be wealthy from birth. Chapter 2, Wealth is a science, and it can lead to scientific wealth. Third, you have the opportunity to become wealthy. Fourth, what is the primary condition for becoming wealthy? Fifth, how can you make your life richer? Sixth, how is wealth attracted to you? Everyone. Teacher Joe found his path because of this book. If you are currently suffering from poverty, relationship issues, or health problems, I believe you must buy this book and read it at home. As I always say, Teacher Joe only recommends books that can change your destiny. Really, this data has changed Teacher Joe's destiny. It's not just about finishing the explanation and calling it a day. After listening to the explanation, you need to take Teacher Joe's advice, buy this book, and read it carefully at home. You will definitely thank Teacher Joe. Everything I have today, my status, my wealth, everything, you can achieve too. The only thing standing between you and me is this book.